Popcorn chicken hit the American fast food scene all the way back in the 1990s, and it became really popular. It's still popular today. But I'm going to show you a really easy recipe today that's so much better than anything you can get at any restaurant. Very easy to make. We're going to start off with our coating. I've got 2 large eggs here, and I'm going to season this with 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. You want to season the eggs directly. This is going to sit right on the chicken, so that salt is going to help to season the meat. And I'll just use my whisk to break it up. Now, what we're doing today is we're dipping an egg and then a flour mix. Now, the base of our coating is 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, and it's going to add some substantial crunch, and that's what we want. But we also want it to stay nice and crispy. So we're going to add a ½ cup of cornstarch. That's going to lighten the coating just a wee bit. And also, I'm going to add a tablespoon of baking powder. So it's going to give it a little bit of lift and a little bit more lightness. As always, we want to season the coating as well. We've got a tablespoon of kosher salt. And next, a tablespoon and a half of sugar. Now, the sugar is really important. It's not only going to add flavor, but it's going to help the coating to brown very quickly once we go to fry it. Because again, these pieces of meat are super small. You don't want them spending a lot of time in the oil, otherwise they will overcook. All right, let's add a little bit of spice here. We've got a teaspoon of black pepper and a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. We've got 2 teaspoons of onion powder and 1½ tablespoons of granulated garlic. And I'll whisk this together. All right, let me show you a trick for breading popcorn chicken, but we use this with most fried chicken recipes as well. So we're going to add a ½ cup of water, and then I'm just going to work the water into the mixture. You can use a spatula, I like to use my hands, and start to press some of these clumps together. And then once those are fried, you get a really nice crunch, really good bite. So this is looking great. I've got some nice small clumps of breading. Now I think it's about time that we get the chicken. We've par-frozen chicken breasts. This is 1½ pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Now this is a great trick for cutting small pieces of meat. We just put them in the freezer for about 40 minutes. You don't want them to be rock solid. You just want them to be a little bit firmer. It's going to be a lot easier for us to cut this. So I'm going to cut this into very small pieces, ½ inch. When I say ½ inch pieces, I mean ½ inch pieces. So I'm going to cut some strips. These are ½ inch pieces. Tiny popcorn chicken. And this would be really hard to do if the chicken wasn't so cold. Now, we're going to bring this over to our egg mixture. I'm going to add all of the chicken all at once. Just give it a nice toss so that they're evenly coated with the egg mixture. And now half of this is going to go into our flour mixture. It's okay if some of that egg mixture goes in there. Don't worry about it, because I'm going to use my hands again and toss the chicken in the coating. I also want to kind of press on the chicken to make sure that the coating is sticking to it. So now we get to pick out all the tiny little pieces, and as I do it, I just want to kind of squeeze them a little bit to make sure that the coating is sticking. And then I'm going to place them on this rimmed baking sheet. Do this enough, you get really efficient, and you can use 2 hands. But you do want to make sure that the pieces are separated from each other. Before I add the second batch of chicken, some of these clumps that are in here are starting to get just a little too big. So I'm going to add a little bit more flour. This is a ¼ cup more of all-purpose flour. And you can whisk it in. I'm just going to stick with the hand method at this point. Just blend it in and break up some of those bigger clumps. And then the second batch of chicken goes in. Now I'm going to bread it exactly the same way, and then we'll start frying. I've got 1½ quarts of peanut oil. You can use vegetable oil, but it's oil with a high smoke point. That's important for frying. And we heated this to 400 degrees. Now that's pretty high for frying, but again, these are tiny pieces of chicken. We don't want them to cook too long. We want them to go into the oil and out in rapid time. So I'll add it in spoonfuls here. Oh, that's a good sound. And you want to stir it as soon as you add it in there. We're only frying half a batch of the chicken at a time because we don't want to lower the temperature of the oil too much. That is about half. This just only needs to cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Really, I'm looking more for color here, but the pieces of chicken are so small we don't have to worry about them being undercooked. We'll look for a good color and then move on. That's looking good. Look at this, beautiful. I'd call that a tawny golden brown. Oh, but I'm going to take them out of the oil and let them drain on some paper towels that I put on a rim baking sheet there. These are almost all out. Now after I get all of these out, I'm going to bring that oil back up to 400 degrees and then cook the second batch exactly the same way. All right, let me just fish out these last few here. This is the second batch. I'm done with the oil. So these look amazing. Ready to eat, but I am going to make a dipping sauce. We're going to make a really simple one. This is 6 tablespoons of honey, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. So we're using Frank's red hot sauce here. It's got a nice balance of vinegar and, of course, spice, and a pinch of salt. Just stir this together. This can be made well in advance. All right. So I like to serve these just on a big platter. Now this is perfect for a party, get together, and there's always these little crunchies left over. Used to be a fried chicken place near where I grew up that would sell just baskets of the crunchy breading. The best part is each of these pieces of popcorn chicken is bite-sized, so there's no double dipping. But let me try one without the sauce first. Can you hear that crunch? The chicken is so beautifully seasoned and really, really crunchy. All right, let's try it with a little bit of sauce. That's a fried chicken trifecta there because you have the perfectly seasoned meat, you got some heat and some sweet. I think this is a winner. Now to make this amazing recipe at home, stir a little water into the coating, par-freeze chicken breasts for easier cutting, and then fry them in very hot oil. All you need is a little dipping sauce, and there you have it. From Cook's Country, piping hot, crispy, crunchy, seasoned perfection, popcorn chicken. Pop it in your mouth. Thanks for watching Cook's Country from America's Test Kitchen. So what'd you think?
Leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or just say hi.
Now you can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
Alligator.